Just listen to the Lady of Shallot's motive and tell me what it makes you feel.
In November 1974, the rehearsals for a new ballet began. An ordinary schoolgirl, Karen Hutton, was to dance the leading role.
Thank you.
Well, she's yearning.
That's right.
She's inside the tower.
She wants to get outside the tower. Okay. So she sees life through the mirror, which is there. If you look through the mirror, you can see what's going on the other side of the stage. And we're going to have a loom in front of you on which you're going to weave what you see in the mirror. And we know there's some sort of curse on you, don't we? But we don't know quite what. Helen, the old crone, at the bottom of the steps, okay, represents fate from which you cannot escape.
6 months later, the first night, and the panic to get changed.
Oh, Alison came in. She said that you lost all your grips near to... Oh,
Somewhere.
hat.
I don't know. But I'm sure she gave one of the
Yeah, but where are they? I mean...
The ballet to be performed was The Lady of Shallot, based on the Tennyson poem with music by the master of the Queen's music, Sir Arthur Bliss.
Okay, Chris. We've got orchestra standing by, cast standing by.
Okay, now I want to have you down on the floor to teach you the dance, then we'll go up and do it up there. Let's get the chair down. Okay?
I think that for her at the moment, as a young girl of 15, she's not totally living in the world that she is living in, if you know what I mean. She's still at school, working hard at O-levels and working hard at her ballet. But I think inside, she is already away in another world, you know, for her, which is going to be London, hopefully, working with her dancing, you know. I think that she finds the reality of school life a little bit of a strain, and thus escapes into herself through her dancing. And in that way resembles the Lady of Shallot.
Good girl, okay. Now your motive. Come behind me. Here's the mirror. You're going
Karen's
to
dream
lunge out.
began in the reality of a project started before she ever came to this perfectly ordinary state school. In 1968, A lunchtime ballet club was formed by the newly appointed teacher of dance, Mary Hockney. The educational possibilities soon became apparent, so the decision to put ballet on the normal school timetable was taken by the headmistress, Grace Eldridge.
I like the way you brought your head down and up. Do that a little bit again without the music. From there, looking into the mirror at yourself.
5 years ago, Karen came to the school, a quiet, reserved little girl from the nearby New Parks Council estate.
Right, will you take down this question, please? Solve the equation.
I failed my 11 plus, and so I had to go to New Parks, because that was the only school that was offered to me.
Minus x minus 3 equals 0.
I suppose if I'd wanted to, I could have gone somewhere else, but I thought, I'm not bothered. I'll go anywhere. And so I went to New Parks. I always remember the first day. I was very apprehensive and worried about it.
To solve the equation, x squared minus x minus 3 equals
I remember
0.
watching some ballet, and I thought, oh, this is lovely.
Newcomers are given 1 ballet lesson a week during the first year. By the time they're doing O-level work, this has increased to 4 to cope with the theory syllabus that includes some 500 years of the history of dance, painting and music.
1, 2, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4. Again.
This dance, based on children playing, is choreographed specially for the limited technique of the youngest ones.
1, good, hips up. Cheer up, come on, Melanie. All right, good, well done. Now let's see if we can do it in a straight line.
For the children, ballet opens up horizons they never dreamt of. For Karen, the experience has had a profound effect.
Ballet gives you a lot of pleasure, and that pleasure is inside you. You go out in front of the audience and you feel as though you're another person. You feel totally different. And those people in the audience, most of them won't know where you come from or who you are, but that doesn't make any difference. They'll be watching you dancing and won't think what kind of homes you come from, what kind of backgrounds you have. When you come out of the hall at school from rehearsing, it's a complete change. We've all been taught how to do beautiful things, or try to. And when you come out, it makes a great impact. You can see that there's a difference. The New Parks estate is very cold emotionally. It's like an empty shell. It's just dead. I mean, you walk through the streets and there's nothing. Just houses and pavements. And I'm not saying that it's absolutely horrid and I can't bear to live here and everything, because I've lived here all my life. And when the sun shines and it's the summer, it's okay. But you can't say you don't like the place where you've been born. You can't really condemn it. It's my kind of class. This is the type of place I've been born into. People around me say, why do you want to try and be something different? Why do you want to be different from us? Aren't we good enough? And things like that. I think everyone should be equal and be allowed to have the same chances. I mean, it's not wrong to have ambitions. I want to be somebody else.
Karen? Yes? Are you coming for some tea or not?
Well, I've got to wash my kit.
Yeah, are you coming down now? I know you've got your kit to wash, my love, but I want to get... got a lot more to do than this. Okay. When do you take your O-levels in, Karen? The mock ones, December?
Next week, next Monday.
I've always said to Karen, you've got to have a job, you know. If you don't get anywhere in ballet, you're not stuck at a dead end. Factory work, repetitive work. She's always been so against it.
See when Miss Shallot, see if she wants some cake. I know you do.
I could never go into a factory. I'd rather be the world's most professional layabout than go into a factory. I can't imagine a bell ringing and everybody rushing out for the tea break and then a bell ringing and rushing back again. They're sitting at a machine all day. These are new books, you know.
What are?
New ones, because they've
What,
got...
from school?
Got revised.
Every ballet dancer imagines themselves as a prima ballerina. I mean, I would myself. I mean, if I was doing dancing and got on very well at it, I mean, you always imagine yourself doing the solo and dancing with Rudolph Nureyev, and Karen does, you know. Well, all ballet girls do, even though they don't tell you. But as I say, they're bound to have the dreams. I don't see anything wrong in it if they know where to stop, which is reality and which is the dreams, then.
I know you're taking the lady. In fact, you find people in life like that, you know, who, when they come up against the real raw life, they can't stand it. And so they have to live, as it were, by second means, whatever it is, by books. I always imagined the lady to be fair, because it doesn't matter because you're just the type, but because in the Tennyson poem it says that Lancelot has black hair under his helmet, you know?
Sir Arthur Bliss invited some of the children to his St John's Wood home to explain his adaptation of the poem.
I have altered it rather in order to bring in more characters, and it is a very strange story, isn't it? I mean, it's almost the reverse of the Sleeping Princess, that she's awakened by a kiss, and in this case the poor girl, you, are killed by a kiss. And I imagined it all taking place during one day. It starts off at dawn, you're seen weaving a tapestry, and obviously what you are weaving is what you have seen of the outside world in the mirror. And she may have a big mirror at the back, or she may have a hand mirror, you know, that she can look in, but she is not allowed to look out direct at life, because if she does that, then the curse comes on her. And
I didn't know what to expect of what Sir Arthur would be like, but I had a vague idea from what people had told me. He was a very charming person, sort of reflective of the times when he was young. I thought he looked very English.
Well, when we came to the young lovers, I just wondered whether, I'm not a good pianist, but I wondered whether I could just play the tune to you and let you listen. Would you like it? Oh, I should say 6 months. It's not thinking it out, it's putting all these little notes on paper, you know, hundreds and hundreds of little notes on paper. Now, I feel I've given you some rather awkward rhythms, which, you know, and I shall never forget, now I feel I didn't follow the advice of Dame Margot when she said, you know, dancers would love to feel that they haven't got to count 1, 2, 3, 5, 1, 2, 3, 5, you know, and she was talking about the sark, you know. I said, you know, it's so difficult. I feel constrained, and I'm afraid I have given a few rhythms, you know, that are a little jerky, but once they're in your head, be all right.
Do that eventually, so can we just clap it? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, and again. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, got to do. We'll do it going round the room. Watch. Step, hop, step, no. Now. Step, hop, hop, step, hop, hop, step, 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 hop, hop, step, hop, hop, step, 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 hop, hop. I can't say it, but I can do it. All right. Let's try again. And step, hop, hop, step, hop, hop, step, 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 hop, hop, step, hop, hop, step, step.
The peasant dance has a nice robust quality about it. And if you look at the pictures of Bruegel's peasants with arms linked and clogs on, this has the same robust feeling. And so it's up to me to try somehow to get this feeling in movement over to the children.
Again, lift the knee up. Da 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 da. The girls are going to jump. 1, 2, 3, up! Up we go! Ooh! Go on, Karen. Lift a bit. Turn slowly. Oh, she's nearly on the floor. Ooh!
Obviously, we needed boys, and we hadn't any. In fact, we only had Neil, who does study ballet with me. The head of drama for Leicestershire put us in touch with a college out at Wheat Valley where they do a lot of drama, and we obtained 4 boys of 15, 16 years who were interested.
That's right. Can you then put the right leg over here, somehow, give her your right hand, and then up you go, the other leg up. How are we going to get you over that? Ooh. There. Oops. Don't let her go back. Have you got her? Now, push your tail into right.
I think the first problem for them was shyness. They were very, very tense and uptight. They were afraid of making fools of themselves. Because, you know, I think the other boys at school would probably make fun of them, and there's a preconceived idea that to be a ballet dancer is sissy.
Curtsy. Away, cow, look, he goes.
In the pas de deux that the Lady of Shallot does with the knight, where she's in the tower and he is on the bank, Sir Arthur wants their movements to synchronize. And even though they are not together, it must appear that they are actually dancing together. So this is going to take quite a lot of thinking out. For me, there are limitations, because obviously Karen Hutton's technique is much stronger than Neil.
Attitude, da, da, dee, da. I give my heart to hands, give me your hands. And Karen smiled. Yes, what should we do again? The exquisite knight is a dandy, perhaps, totally concerned with himself, rather more than with the ladies with whom he flirts. He's drawn towards the Lady of Shallot because she's aloof in the tower. You know, he's very easily distracted by the village belle. And then, in the end, when she rejects him, he's not awfully concerned and the way he goes. No, don't, just walk normally. Don't do any of that. Just walk normally, normal step. You know, no turn up, anything.
By Easter, rehearsals were sufficiently advanced to try out some of the dances with the orchestra. Tumbler's dance, with its complex cross rhythm, presents probably the most difficult technical problem of the whole ballet for conductor Eric Pinkett and for Mary Hockney. It is astonishing that these schoolchildren, who play together only once a week, can cope with a score that would daunt even a professional orchestra.
Take your head under. A little bit further away, though, no? Jump higher up in the air when you go over. When you know. It was messy, wasn't it? We're not finishing absolutely spot on with you.
Okay.
Can we do it again?
Yes,
Can we just have a minute to sort them out again?
It needs a little more speed and colour. Colour in movement, really. This is the impression the music gives to me. And my girls, anyway, don't perform or learn acrobatic dancing.
Now, this is where you lose the time. You get up very quickly. Now, Alison, watch, because you tend to hurry.
I think that the dance must be performed in a balletic way. I think it must be. Otherwise, you've got two totally different styles, and it would clash.
foot, Stephen. Stretch your foot.
The Lover's Pas de Deux is danced by Rosemary and Stephen. I intended it to be a dance of youth and innocence, which is perhaps something that Rosemary can portray rather well. We've had a little bit of a struggle with Stephen with regard to this. In fact, he did confess to me that it worries him a great deal. And I think he's very uptight about it, and told me yesterday that he feels so totally inferior to the girls, having been a student of dance for so short a time, that he's constantly aware of his inadequacies. And I think that he's got to learn to relax more with this. Steady, smile at her. Other arm out. Find her. Shoulders back, your shoulders back. Lift her, as we said. Stephen, smile at her as you lift her. Here we go. Smile, smile. Right she goes. Now look at him for a moment. Wait. The lady is sitting in the tower and sees the dance of the young lovers, and to her, I think it represents the ideal that she thinks you'll never, ever come by. And the whole thing leaves her extremely moved and sad.
Can we pause for a break there? Okay.
Sir Arthur Bliss had been due to attend these rehearsals, but was unfortunately taken seriously ill.
And one day Mr. Pinkett told us that Sir Arthur had died. And of course, rather upset about it. Found it difficult to believe. School in April, and we had to take an audition there to decide whether we would get into the school. I suppose our futures depended on whether we got in or not.
There are 5 girls this year who hope to go on to ballet schools, and obviously they want them to be in London, because London is their dream, you know. London is where Covent Garden is, where the theatres are. I think that you have to let them take their chance on this, after explaining that A, they may not make it, B, even if they do, there are many hazards ahead, you know, many difficulties. They may be in the end disappointed. But I do think that you must let them have their chance.
Okay then. So now remember, relax, best foot forward. You can't do any more than your best, all right? And if you're going to be nervous, you're going to forget it tomorrow, and this time tomorrow it'll all be over. All right? So come on then, let's go.
If you go in saying, well, I'm not going to get in, you perhaps might not, and then you'll think, well, I was right. I thought I wouldn't get in, and didn't. And if you go in saying, oh, I'm going to get in, and then you don't, well, that's even worse. I just didn't think about anything. I just thought, I've just got to go in there and do my best. And I can do no more.
Please. Oh, we haven't got a name, look. Now, here you have Miss Munro and Miss Norman, who will be your teachers during the first year if you're successful in passing the audition. All right, now would you stand at the bars, please? Now, Miss Munro will explain the exercises.
Right, second position, we do grand plie, 2 counts down, 2 counts up, rise, taking arms up to 5th, come down, change into 1st.
Grand plie in first. 2 counts down, 2 counts up. Rise, taking on the fifth. Change to fifth position in front. Same thing for the fifth position in front for the rise. And same thing for the foot at the back. And hold the last balance to the end of the music. Then come down. So begin in second, please. Arms 1. And down. And down. Up. Rise up.
There are only 18 places to be filled from 500 applications. Angela Ellis, director of the Rambert School, knows that for those who fail, it could be the end of their dream.
Rise up. Arms to 5, 6. Doubles on half point. 3, 4. Ritire. 1, 2. À la seconde. Passez, retirez. Attitude, croisée. Pivot towards the supporting leg. Out. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And 1, 2, 3.
Things that really stuck in my mind were all the faces, and I could see all the reflections in the mirrors. And it was ever so hot, and everything seemed to be going ever so quick. It was sort of an uncomfortable feeling, with all eyes on you. You have to get used to that, I suppose.
Now, we haven't decided exactly who will actually be picked and who won't, and who will be on the waiting list. All right. Thank you very much for coming. I'm sorry it was such a ghastly ordeal. I hate it as much as you do, I assure you, and I know that the staff do as well. Thank you very much for coming. I shall send the letters off tomorrow, and you'll know about the middle of next week, quite definitely.
Mum,
Yes?
just come.
Oh, come on, open it quick before I wash the clock.
God, I don't take me.
You don't help me? Come on. You're in. Oh, great. All the time you've waited for this, aren't you glad? Oh, very, very good. Aren't you glad it's all over? You've done it at last, eh? Oh, I'm pleased, very, very pleased for you, Carol.
Dealing now with the poem, The Lady of Shallot, we can interpret this in a variety of ways, but it seems fairly obvious that the woman represents a human being, represents humanity, represents life. The towers are our own prison of our minds and our bodies, and the larger prison of the environment in which we find ourselves. There she weaves by day and night, magic web. The magic web, the aims, the ambitions, the fantasies which we all have. Ultimately, we've got to make a decision. Now, is Sir Lancelot here the catalyst, which is the event that forces us to take a certain course? It was in this case. She only took 3 steps, remember. That was enough.
On the first night, they were with us all the way. A lovely audience. And the curtain call, so you feel like running away. You have to throw yourself on to go, else you'll never get on. Lady Bliss came up to me and gave me some flowers with a card, and she said something to me. I just felt ever so happy. I shall keep the flowers. I shall press them and put them into my scrapbook. I shall keep them forever.